Hello everyone. Today we have Dr. Maheshwari Sanguli, who is an integrative medicine physician and founder of Samatva Holistic Health. She has done specializing in the field of naturopathy and yoga, fitness, plant-based nutrition, acupuncture. She has worked in many naturopathy and yoga hospitals and as a senior expert at Healthify Me. Passionate with her work, she is treating thousands of patients and inspiring many health enthusiasts. Not only in professional front, but she is also following whole food plant-based diet along with her husband and 7-year-old daughter. She believes in minimalism, sustainable and mindful living. She is going to answer your queries related to plant-based diet. Thank you for sending your queries prior to the event and do not hesitate to share your questions in comments as well. Welcome Dr. Mishwari.
Thank you, Harsha.
So why don't you say a few words about what is a plant-based diet? People are confused with this terminology.
Yes, I'm glad. So, usually, people are, they're confused with veganism and the plant-based diet and the whole food plant-based
So,
diet. And
Dr. Maheshwari, what do you think people will understand from the terminology? Yes.
am I audible, Harsha?
So, what is this exactly a plant-based diet? Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yes, I can
So
hear
a
you.
plant-based diet, it's a plant-rich diet. Usually it consisting of mainly of a plant-based foods itself, right? Like, you
You're
can
absolutely audible, Dr. Maheshwari. I can
yeah.
hear you
Okay,
perfectly.
great, great. So, usually it is grains, dals, nuts and seeds, the green leafy vegetables and fruits, right? And, as per the even Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, I hope I'm audible. Yeah. It states that a well-planned plant-based diet, right? So it can support our health and it is appropriate throughout all stages, all life stages. Like it could be lactation, it could be for children, even for athletes. So it is absolutely a healthy diet to follow at any stage of life. However, the term the plant-based diet is usually people are confused and it has been changed over the period of time. And this phrase, people think with it, it could be a vegan diet, a veganism, or vegetarian diet, right? So we can just go through all of that and, let's work on clearing some of the queries related to that today. Yeah, that we can do that. So usually in vegetarian diet, people do consume animal foods like milk products, right? And in a plant-based diet, it is entirely all the foods what we include are from the plant. They're plant-rich foods only, nothing of animal based origin. Yeah. Is it audible, Arsha?
Audible to you, Dr. Maheshwari?
Yes, am I audible? I think there is a lot of.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yeah, now
Yes,
it's audible.
I can see sometimes network is bad, I'm so sorry for that. So I was asking, we can go ahead into the question. Start with that.
Yeah, so there is
Yes,
a lot of confusion. So what I was
great.
saying, yeah, it's about non-vegetarian food and like it's healthy, it's necessary, it has some essential nutrients and which is not there in plant-based
So
foods.
shall we go into the questions, Dr. Maheshwari?
Yeah, we can go ahead, Harsha, we can.
great. Question I was asking, does a plant protein
Harsha, I can't hear you. So I can't hear Harsha, but it looks like it's the program is live, and I can see some of the questions. So as per this, I would just like to go ahead until Harsha come online. So I see protein. The people are asking usually when we are in plant-based diet, do we get all the nutrients?
Do we
Especially
get all the
people are
nutrients?
worried with do we get
Especially people
proteins?
are worried that
I
do we
mean,
get
that is what usually comes to
that
anybody who
is
thinks
what
of
usually
plant-based
comes
diet,
to anybody
right?
who thinks of plant-based diet, right?
So the simplest
So
unit of protein. So
unit
Harsha,
of
my voice is echoing.
Actually, my voice
Kindly
is echoing.
mute or
Kindly mute or
yeah. So we were going with the protein part, right? So the simplest unit of
the
protein is
simplest unit
what
of
we call as amino acids. Yeah. So there are 20 different amino acids. I'm just giving in brief. Yeah. So in that there are 8 amino acids which are, which needs to be supported. I mean, which we must get it from outside with the food. So, right. That's why we call it as essential amino acids. What happens in when people take non-veg or when people take animal foods, it has all the amino acids including essential and non-essential amino acids, right? But in plant-based diet, these essential amino acids are not, I mean, all the essential amino acids are not there in one plant food, right? We must take the varied plant-based sources to get all the essential amino acids which are required for the body, right? So for this reason, people think it is not a complete protein. We don't get all the all the protein, complete protein required for the body. But that is not so. If we plan the plant-based diet in a right way, we can include all the essential amino acids. I mean, we can get all the, I mean, complete protein. So for just for the reason of protein, we don't have to go for taking animal foods or animal protein, right? And in addition, actually, why do we need protein? We need it for growth, right? We need it for defense mechanism. We need it for repair, right? So for all these reasons, we need protein, and of course, some stages of life where people, the growing children and athletes. So in all these conditions, the protein requirement vary. Yeah. So usually, I mean, it recommended protein is zero point 0.8 gram per kg body weight, up to one gram we can say. And even people who work really hard in the, I mean, who are athletes, who work out in the gym for 4 to 5 hours, they would need 1.5 to maximum 2 gram per kg body weight, not more than that. And that much of proteins we can easily get it in the plant foods itself. Yeah. And there are so many sources of
sources of
plant foods
plant
wherein we
foods
can
wherein
get
we can
the
get the
plant proteins.
plant
Yeah.
proteins. Yeah.
That was wonderful, Dr. Maheshwari. And I apologize to our viewers for the network inconvenience. And now I'm back. So we'll move to our next question, Dr. Maheshwari. How can you incorporate iron and calcium intake in your diet when you are moving towards a plant-based food?
Okay, so this is again,
Okay,
one
so
of
this
the
is again,
main.
one of the main.
Harsha, I think my voice is
Harsha, I think
echoing
my
for
voice
you.
is echoing for you.
So you can. Yes, I think it's audible now, right? So whenever after the protein, the next the question comes is just the calcium, right? After the protein, everybody thinks, okay, we are on plant-based food now, and we don't get enough calcium for the, and we must take milk because in plant-based diet, not just the non-veg, even the milk is not allowed. Okay, so milk is also not recommended in the plant-based diet. But what you don't have to go for taking milk because we'll also go to this aspect of why not taking, milk is not good, or at this point of time for all of us in this generation and this the kind of activity we do and the kind of milk we get, this is not recommended. And how we can get calcium from other sources, like just taking nuts, seeds, spinach, and taking green leafy vegetable. You take nachni. If we take, these main, very easily we can get all these things in day-to-day food, right? And I mean, in our daily meal preparation, we can include each of this in a proper portions, right? And we can get all the calcium requirement, and we can get rid of the milk, and we can go ahead with the plant-based calcium sources, what I can say. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is a wonderful take, that how they can have an alternative, to for calcium or for iron.
Yeah.
So moving on
Yeah.
to next question, I will go. People have been asking, are there any side effects to their body if they start consuming complete plant protein diet? Sometimes they feel they have sluggish digestive systems as well. So answers to that will be very wonderful to have.
Okay, so see, the plant-based diet doesn't mean what people think usually is okay. We can take anything which has plant-based options. If you consider even a processed food, even a fried food, which doesn't have any animal products, right? But it has, the oil is, extraction of a plant, and whatever you use for the frying things, everything is plant-based only. But it doesn't mean it is healthy. It is processed, right? Which is not good for the body. Yeah. So even when we take plant-based, it has to be unprocessed. That means it has to be whole. It has to be fiber rich. It has to be a natural one. It should not be something which is packed, which is not, a factory made, right? So home cooked, even home cooked also, it has to be a whole food. Then the plant-based food is definitely good. In no way it is bad for health, and we need to know what proportion of each of the food and what time we need to take in what portion size based on the body needs, that we need to know well. And in that way it is not good. Of course, when people are not used to taking plant-based food is rich in fiber, and when once for all we take up the fiber which we are not used to, I mean when our gut is not used to, we would face a little bit of bloating, the issues with gas and all those. But slowly we need to increase the fiber content, and we can cope with that. It's not something which we need to be worried about.
That is great. I think a body is a complex system, and it will take its own time to bring a change into itself. So, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. Linking to the iron and calcium intake we were talking about, people also feel that there might be B12 deficiency when they consume only plant protein. So, any comments on
Yes, so
that?
this is something we need to be. I mean, we must think about, because of course when the plant-based food is deficient in B12, because B12 is not easily available, or it is not available in plant foods, because this is we get it with fermented foods, and even in the natural in the early stages where people were really living a natural lifestyle, they used to take stream water, they used to be with the mud, and they used to get those bacteria through the mud and all that. Nowadays we live ultra modern life where it's very difficult to get B12. And so in this case, there are so many B12 fortified foods available, and otherwise you can also go ahead with supplements in case whenever we require B12. And that's great enough to go ahead with the B12 fortified foods or B12 supplements, or it's not necessary for everybody. They can get checked with B12 levels only if it is required. Only if the levels are low, they can go ahead with it. And I've also seen in my experience with my followers, wherein it's not just plant-based diet. The people who follow plant-based diet, even otherwise also, people are deficient in B12, right? So it is not just only people who are following the plant-based lifestyle, even otherwise also people are lacking with this. So irrespective of it, if it is needed, can go ahead with the supplements or fortified foods. Yeah. And B12 is really
Great.
needed, I mean, if the B12 is deficient, there will be a serious health issues, the weakness, and it could be pneumonia, anemia, and other things will be affected. So it's good to get checked, and you
Right.
can go ahead with it. Yeah.
Great. I think the having alternatives and having, the supplements you have mentioned, it's really amazing that that deficiency can be cured. So we will move to
Yeah.
a, more asked question. I will say most asked question, that plant protein diet is expensive. So what do you think and what are your suggestions for that?
So anything when we buy from out or anything which is packed is expensive, and we don't have to go for plant proteins. So we don't have to buy it, right? As I was saying, plant proteins. I mean, we get rich plant proteins in dals, legumes, nuts, seeds. You can make nut milk and seeds and milk, and all the green leafy vegetables. And actually every food has got protein in it, and when we take the regular food in a right portion, we get enough protein what is required for the body. And nowadays we are just focusing too much on protein, maybe the gym trend and all these, these things which have because of the commercial advertisements and all this which has come up. But if we look into our life before, or how our ancestors used to live and all that, it is not that we were focusing on one nutrient. We were not hyping it on, okay, we must need protein, that's why we eat food, and we need calcium. Not necessary. We must have a balanced diet which consists of all the food groups, especially, you take grains and dals and legumes. I mean, you can green leafy vegetables, nuts and seeds and fruits. If you include all of them in a proper proportion in all the meals, then we don't have to go for any supplements, or we don't have to worry about protein in case, right? So I would definitely not recommend taking protein powders. We should not increase on one nutrient at all. Like if you take protein powder, just listening to somebody in fitness center and all that, it will tax on our liver and kidneys. And I myself, being a naturopath, working more than a decade, I would never recommend any supplements or protein powder. But I mean, we can see amazing health benefits just by providing a proper balanced meal, right? So that is and you don't have to even think about, okay, athletes need more, or the children need more protein. See, based on their age level and their activity, they eat accordingly. As per their food, they get that much of protein what is required for their body. So, and if you're still worried with, okay, I really have to concentrate on protein, please go ahead with taking nut milk. You can soak all the nuts, like you can take cashews or take almonds, or you can even soak seeds, sunflower and pumpkin, and can make sesame seeds. They're amazing. And so you can soak all of them, just grind it, and you get the milk out of it. So they are great. Or if it is difficult procedure, can include the nuts and seeds on salads, or can make creams or cheese out of it. So in many ways you can use it. Yeah. So that will definitely provide us all the protein requirements. Yeah.
Right. I think what people are fearing, that you said rightly, the packed foods and everything might be expensive, but we have been surrounded by this green protein everywhere, or veggies
Yeah.
or dals, which is very much into Indian culture. So we have all the options. We are maybe seeking alternatives at the wrong place, in the processed food or in the packaged food that you just mentioned. That is very wonderful to know. And since we were talking about, children, so during pregnancy and young growing children, will this protein will be enough for the better health for the mother and as well as the young ones?
Absolutely. So we don't have to actually, uh, think like, okay, pregnancy, they need more. I mean, of course, the requirement for overall nutrients will increase, right? And so when they increase the amount of food, of course, we need to just focus on giving more of sprout, more of green leaves, more of nuts and seeds, and all of this. This will definitely suffice. My concern here is not for people to worry about, okay, is there anything, something particularly we need to worry about, or we need to. Usually, what question we get is, okay, because we shifted to plant based food, should I have to take protein powder or any other supplements? Not necessary, just including the right portion of all these nutrients, I mean all these food groups, will be sufficient. The problem what happens is, in general people eat, if you take a regular South Indian meal, people take rice or sambar, and they don't take enough of vegetable or fruits in on daily basis, right? Or nuts and seeds. If you go to North India, they'll focus on roti and dal. It's not that they take enough of vegetables or in a right portion, or salads for that matter, or taking proper green leafy vegetable as much needed, or nuts and seeds on regular basis. And I also see people who are take really very less fruits on daily basis. So all these things, it doesn't matter whether you are on plant based diet, or if you're not on plant based diet, people do get different nutrient deficiencies. So just the protein and calcium, maybe little less in the plant based diet compared to the animal foods. But animal foods also have other toxins. They are acidic, so, and they are definitely carcinogenic. And taking too much of protein is absolutely not good. Protein is not like it will store in the body, right? It will be excreted as urea, which is bad, right? So it is so much of taxing, as I was saying earlier, on our liver and kidneys. So we don't hear anybody having protein deficiency anywhere. People, we only see people who are having issues with too much of protein. It could be the diabetes, even that is linked with the same in indirectly. It could be, now today is a World Heart Day, even heart disease, excess cholesterol, and take cancer. So all of this is too much of growth. Cancer means too much, excess growth, right? So nobody has protein deficiency. There is always the excess of protein which is causing the issues nowadays. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that fact, Dr. Maheshwari. I think most of people are not aware about it, that protein is not exactly the necessity of the body, but a balanced diet is the necessity. You balance your fiber and protein all together. So, coming to our last question, there are people who are fitness enthusiasts, and in gyms, people are asked to consume animal protein. So, what do you think that what could be better alternatives for people who are too much into fitness and they want to continue their fitness journey with having this plant protein diet?
Okay, so just a very simple thing. Before they start any workout, you can just have fruits, that has really good energy. And we may not be able to count the protein, but it has in it. And it has all the, minerals and vitamins, whatever we required. You can go ahead with the fruits without fail. And make sure to consume good amount of nuts, a handful of nuts every day, and seeds, right? All the seeds which are really rich in the protein, and also all the nutrients and calcium, everything. So nuts and seeds are what I recommend. You can make a nut shake or nut seeds milk shakes, right? And they are the best to have. Or you can even make desserts out of it, and which are very handy to have along with the dates. And having the food which are whole is what I recommend, with the fiber, instead of processing and sieving and all that. So you can have whole nuts and whole seeds in the form of nut shakes, and the dates and the powders. You can, I mean the dry fruit powders, can go ahead and have them. And also having on daily basis, at least, I mean weekly, 4 to 5 times a day, we must have green leafy vegetables. And having raw salads on at least two main meals every day is the best thing to have. right? And calcium is really rich in green leafy vegetable. As I told, you can have it in the form of smoothies. You can have because usually we don't take any raw green leaves in just like that, right? Having raw green leaves are really difficult. I mean, or usually we cook it, so most of the nutrients go away. So you can mix the green leaves with maybe a banana or an apple or papaya, any pulpy fruits, and you can just make a smoothie, and you can that's a really easy go to have for the breakfast, and even people who go for the go for the gym and work out. So that's the best option. So where they get green leaves, and they can also add in the nuts and seeds in it, and fruits. That's the best option what I would recommend. And along with the
I think that's
food, yeah, along with having plant-based food, we need to also look into other areas of life wherein proper workout, exercise, having good sleep, and stress-free living. All these things are also really important for heart health and overall health too. Yeah.
right, absolutely. That was wonderful. So I would like to share with your viewers, that during this World Heart Day, do you want to share something and that can inspire our viewers who are watching us?
Now, because when the research has proved, Harsha, that plant-based diet can reverse many chronic lifestyle diseases, and heart health is definitely linked with our diet and lifestyle. So we must make sure that we have a healthy lifestyle and diet. I mean, focusing on plant-based diet, which will help us in reversing diabetes, hypertension, and these are all the risk factors for our, heart diseases, right? So, going to plant-based diet with good exercise, stress-free living, and having a good sleep is really important. And it doesn't happen overnight. See, taking care of heart is not on one day, or it's not a one day affair. So we need to take regular care on the health, and on day to day basis, maybe like omega 3 fatty acids, taking good fibrous diet, having if people who are really into the animal foods, they can slowly reduce it. Whoever wants to shift to plant based diet, it is not that on the day one they will be able to. At least they can reduce. If they're taking animal foods on alternate days, they can make it once a week, and slowly the frequency goes down. And they will also get to know what are the alternatives they have once they slowly shift to the plant based diet, right? And nowadays it is very easy to, so that they can go ahead with, and this will definitely help them in taking care of their heart health too.
That was a great message, Dr. Maheshwari. Thank you for sharing that. And I do agree, by increasing the demand and the consuming these more plant-based foods, we can do this magic for our health, for reducing the
Yeah,
reliance on the animals as well, and reduce our role of food system in bringing better climate and treating the public health
absolutely.
crisis as well at a very larger level. Yeah. So it was wonderful
Yes.
discussing with you, Dr. Maheshwari. Thank you for joining us and sharing
Thank
your
you so
facts.
much.
And I think we are very enlightened. Thank you so much, Dr. Maheshwari.
Thank you, Harsha. Thank you so much. Hope on this World Health Heart Day, I mean, we can take up this pledge. We can shift to plant-based diet. This will not only help our
Yes,
health, and it is definitely good for environment also, right? So we can take
absolutely.
that step towards taking a plant-based diet. And there are so many people, I'm one of them. Many people who will help without taking any medicine, without going to plant. I mean, animal foods. We can take health to a better level, and we can reverse a lot of diseases, and people can make the best use of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the viewers. Stay healthy and happy World Heart Day.
Thank you so much.